Hello, creatives. Welcome to Artist Star. My name is Beth, and I am at the gallery today for the Zodiac series. This reading is for Capricorn, whose major arcana card is the Devil. This is the artist card representing you as the open vessel, ready to receive whatever source can draw from the well of infinite creativity. So this is a new spread. It is Capricorn season at the time that this reading will be released on YouTube. And it is about 2 days before a full moon. So this spread is called Full Moon Gratitude. And this first row here with the archetype cards, this row is, in what area of my life is my fullest creative vibration at this time? Then we will go into the Muse cards. I haven't used these yet. New year, new deck of cards. And then for more clarifying, of course, with the cards of truth to find out what area that this is going to be discovered in. And the Lenormand just for some more clarity, nailing it down just that little bit more. And then the second row here, this is how best can I begin to tap this energy. So for this, we've got the Creative Oracle, Creativity Oracle, and that's going to give us some more information on how to tap that. And again, with the clarifying. The third row here is what would help to acknowledge and release at this time of the full moon. So here we have the soul's journey, and then once again we will clarify with the rest. And then because of the full moon and the coming out at this time, I pulled a moon card and a star seeds card to see what else your daimon or your creative muse, your source, would like to share with you. You know, what creative nuggets to keep or to hang on to through this process. All right, so let's get started and see exactly what we've got going on here for you, Capricorn. Let's start with the first row, and in what area of my life is the fullest creative vibration at this time? So here we've got Child Magical. So the light attributes, seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. And the shadow attributes, pessimism, depression, disbelief in miracles, and believing that energy and action are not required for growth. Well, any artist can acknowledge that you do need to have some miracles happen sometimes. And this is all about, well, like a child believing in fairies, that, you know, that magic does come in, that sparks of inspiration that your source shares with you to push you into that realm of being able to make magic, really, and seeing the beauty in all of that. So let's move on and see what we can clarify with this new deck. The Muse. Ooh, Knight of Voices. They switch out the voices are the swords. So swords in the tarot are air energy, and it is about knowing in which direction to go. It's winter and it is harder, and you got to be a little driven, and it's probably one of the tougher suits because it is going to take that mental stimulation to get from where you are to where you want to go. And the Knight of Voices talks about getting wings as far as lifting off from a heavy situation. Now you see the horse is an incredibly heavy animal, yet it's able to thrust itself into the air and fly. And yeah, and it's that energy of a knight. So fast-paced, strong, young, dynamic energy to be able to do this. But again, this card is asking you to believe in that, well, magic and the ability that some things are just miracles and that they can happen. They can happen for everyone. So let's see what the cards of truth has for you. All right, so we've got the Four of Spades in reverse. Ordinarily, if it's in the upright position, it is all about having a rest, a retreat for some reason out of your control, most likely. But sometimes it can also just be you knowing that it's time to take that break. So, but it is in reverse, so now is not the time to rest. Now is the time to push forward, find something stable. This is a stability card. It's the 4 card. It is also all about action and understanding that you can find what you need in the respite. However, now is not the time to dilly-dally. I guess that's the best way to put that, because it's about also cautionary about being bored, right? Or to the point of exhaustion through drudgery. So really this row is telling me that there's this balance that needs to be found between believing in miracles and magic and that hard core, nothing ever magical ever happens, and it's all fine and good until it's not working, and then it's harder, of course, to hang on to that way of thinking, that ease, if you will, that lightness of flying and being able to get there from here with just your thoughts, which is the voices suit, and it is the swords suit, the spades suit. So a lot of inner mental work going on here about what you're telling yourself in order to get to that level of creativity. So this is really full for you right now, this vibration of battling through how to hang on to that childlike, magical sense, that believing in fairies, lightness, if you will, that you have within your creativity. So let's see what the Lenormand would tell us. So you got the Star. Now this is, again, about having some bright point, some joy and happiness. It is about your dreams coming true and knowing that all things pass, that success is in sight, and that you never really completely without hope. So, all right, so let's see where this struggle is going to take you. Because if this is at the top of your creative energy, it's a lot of energy right there to be tapping into creatively, that whole trying to find the balance between how to be in this very grounded world and keep that childlike magical sensibilities with your art. Okay, so let's see how best you can begin to tap into this energy, this balancing act that you've got going on here. So the Creativity Oracle is success. Enjoying your life and the unfolding of your creative abilities as much as possible is real success. So this is talking about the journey in the process. So it's all that give and take, that trial and error, and all about sorting through, right? What doesn't work to find what does. So, and as I like to say, oftentimes when you exhaust all the possibilities and nothing's working, you take that respite, that moment, that cup of tea, and then something happens. It unlocks the key. So, yeah, this is about the process. So again, it's a lot of energy being spent on figuring it out. So you're in the process. Stay in the process and keep working it. Keep taking those moments. Keep finding the magic in it. And I'm just going to leave this card up so that you can continue to look at the back of this with this beautiful heron. It looks like a white heron. And this lovely magical land. Although there is this net at the top, this grid that this bird that would love to fly could get tangled in. So it is cautionary and about staying in your creative process and to not get caught in any of the negative thinking. Okay, well, let's see what the Muse deck has for you here. The 5 of Inspirations. So inspirations are the replacement for the wands. So this is action. This is all about getting things done. And here with the 5 of Inspirations, it is about a healthy competition. This can be a competition with yourself or with other people. So it could be a bit of a tangle for you at the moment with finding that balance and sorting through the process. Might be a really good time to keep a notebook and your thoughts. Maybe jot down some haikus or find some poetry that can help you sort through. Stay in that magicalness of the process, if you will. Not get too tired and bogged down with it. Not be comparing yourself to other people, because that kind of comparing is like an inner competition with your own self. When things aren't working, you start looking outside, and you don't want to go there. That's not going to be helpful. Only in the reflection, if you will, because as I'm looking at this card, all of those objects they're looking into or dealing with here is sky, and understanding your process to stay in that. Even if there's competition within yourself, to stay in the process. And again, not to get snagged. All right. Well, let's see what the cards of truth have for you here. The 10 of Spades. It is upright, and not an easy card. It is a life path card, and it is a fire card, and it is an overall life purpose card at this time. So again, it's about carrying your burdens well, while you go through a very taxing situation or period of time. But the whole thing about it is that it is also greater efforts for greater rewards. So the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. It's a beautiful card in that respect. It's not an easy card. It might be the most difficult card in the deck. You're going to be sorely challenged with it. You're going to feel exhausted, but you need to just stay in it. Find that inspiration within yourself to maybe find a lighthearted view about the process and all of the sorting through of finding that balance with the magical and the everyday mechanicals that you have to embody in order to produce whatever it is you're producing. So let's see what the cards of the Lenormand cards have for us. So you've got the Gentleman, and this is nice because this is an overall high regard, and if you're listening, your message will come through in the cards, right? This is whatever the cards have to deliver. This card helps it get to your ears and for you to be able to embody the message to the best of your abilities at the time of the reading. So, yeah. This is a struggle for you. And it's finding that inspiration and that magical, right? In the process of the balancing act between the two worlds. Holy moly. All right, so let's look at this third row and see what would be helpful to acknowledge and to release at this time. Perhaps there's something that has you stuck in this, that something that if you were to acknowledge it and to release it would free up some of that energy to start trickling through and get the energy yourself to continue this process, because it can happen. It should happen. You've got the success card. You've got the card that says you're going to be able to hear it. You now know that there's this balancing act that you're doing in order to figure out the best way to continue with what it is that you have in the process at the moment. So let's find out what would help to acknowledge and release. Well, grief. Yeah, that's a big one, isn't it? It says, I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. But this card also goes on to talk about how grief is a process and that you are to understand that nothing ever fully leaves you. It's in that magical thinking, again, that energy, that everything is energy. And even though something may leave you in this life, whatever that something may be, person, place, thing, it is also goes into that magical realm of energy where it's just more for you to tap, more to appreciate, and more to understand that you now have that next layer of what you need. Yeah, grief is a tough one, and it's just accepting in your heart that you'll be able to tap into that energy. It is more of that magical thinking. Okay, so let's take a look at the Muse card here. 8 of Voices. Interesting looking card, isn't it? So this card is again about hearing, and you can see that she has a blindfold on, yet Source is still able to reach, because it doesn't really come with sight, does it? It's that energy that is just there, and you don't need sight to see it. You feel it. It is a feeling thing. So that is, again, to understand the grief and to be able to really get to the bottom of that, acknowledging whatever it was that needs to be let go, what part of grief it is that you're hanging on to. It may even be a part of what you're doing at this time for your art, bringing that very heavy, very sad energy into something. Yeah, I know when my father passed, I created a whole body of work that was very ethereal. All, days at the end of days, and, those sunsets and that. But so I was able to channel that into something beautiful. He was a good man. He was a very good father. So, yeah, but it is making me see this muse about this competition within yourself, and that perhaps through this grief that needs to be acknowledged and let go of, and only you know what that grief is that you are being asked to process at this time. All right, so let's just move on to the cards of truth. You got the Queen of Clubs, very highly creative, tons of energy, lots of inspiration. She is a force to be reckoned with in every sense of the word. She is just this really lovely, active, trusted, good judgment. It's this huge opportunity to embody the 4s, 5s, and 6s. And you've got a 4 here, and it is of the dark suit. So that stability, and in this case, this respite that you are asked to not stay in for long. It is about the 5 energy, all of this sorting through of how to find that balance that you haven't quite gotten your finger on. And also the 6s, which is ultimately success in having that come into fruition for you and to be recognized through an outside source and validated for that success. Very, very lovely card for you to get here. It really speaks of you being able to finally get through this tug of war. So let's see what Lenormand card you got. You got the Heart, which is lovely because it is about making a commitment to yourself. So overall, Capricorn, this is very interesting for you because being Capricorn, you are in the concrete things. You like really things that you can touch and feel and hold as an overall view of what the Capricorn embodies. I have a Capricorn moon. It is my only Earth in my chart. So, yeah, I can appreciate it. And in my first house. So my Capricorn energy is really about grounded emotions and finding that within. So I am grateful for it. So with that Capricorn energy that we are looking at this reading, whether it's your moon card as well, or sun, or rising, or if it's in your 5th house, it's all good. Because Capricorn gets things done in a very pragmatic, one foot in front of the other kind of way. You have a really interesting way of being able to nail something down. And that's beautiful because you will not lose that energy of just sticking to it. Through a little bits of respite here and there, having those cups of tea, but not having the tea and then finding other distractions. It's getting right back to the trial and error of working this through, this finding what works and hanging on to that magical sensibilities of a child, that I believe in fairies, and also being able to keep your feet on the ground. Wow, okay. And the only thing that is here, that is competition within yourself or comparison to others, unhealthy business there, so don't do that. It's nice that the cards allow that for you. And sorry about that notification, but yeah, anyways. And working through whatever grief it is around this process. So don't get too hard on yourself. Just see it as through those childlike eyes and just toss it aside and begin again. Yeah, no need to hang on to that because you've got all of this really beautiful creative energy going on for you here and just needing to make that commitment to it. All right, so last but not least, what would your daimon, your creative muse, your source like to share with you about anything to keep through this process? Well, because we are looking at a new moon, not a full moon at the time of this. This is a new moon in Aquarius card. So this is talking about how to bring love into the situation. So, and to see the bigger picture, of course, and move forward no matter how hard the journey, that whatever efforts will be matched with reward, which is really important for you to hear, because the Aquarius energy of this card has, as this card likes to describe, this electric feel to it, very much like what we're seeing here in the Voices card. It's not something that you are going to see as much as you are going to feel that. You know it, right? Yeah, you know it. So, yeah, so let's bring that into this process and see what this says. Stillness. Reflect on this moment with love, kindness, and compassion. Oh, that's a beautiful card. So take it easy on yourself. This is not going to be an easy process, but it's going to be worth every effort because it will be rematched with reward, and you just need to make that commitment to it. So very interesting reading for you, Capricorn. And yeah, happy 2022, happy full moon, happy letting go of any little bits of grief within, and yes, getting in touch with that feeling of the magical, I believe in fairies, and lifting yourself into that. Very, very nice. I love that card. This is a fun deck. All right, we'll see more of it. Thank you so much, and hopefully you'll be inspired and find this message useful. All right, as always, happy creating.